You know, it's 23 years now that we got democracy in this country. It is almost for me diabolical that we should be getting together here this evening 23 years later, and spending so much of time and energy talking about what I call a snazzy buzzword called social cohesion. In fact, what social cohesion has become of recent, it's become a pastime for people in high societies, people in high echelons, in social climates, at dinner tables, and of course, and following that. And to be blunt, it's a very common term that's been bandied about by the so-called lanis of our society, without really seriously meaning what social cohesion actually does or should do for us, and how should we as a society, and I'm not talking about Indians and Africans, I'm talking as society, we are a society. How do we as a society go forward with the greatest challenge that faces all of us, each and every one of us? And that is that we are still stymied, influenced, radicalized, and to a great extent kept apart, still divided by the economic power that is still in the hands of, as Mr. Krama correctly and absolutely precisely pointed out, in the hands of a few white minority in this country. They are still dividing us. They are still directing us in which way we should go. They direct our lives. And how do they do it? They do it because we, as a society, 80% plus populated in this country, are unable to get our act together. We simply haven't forgotten the habits that we were inculcated with by the ravages of apartheid. Those of us who were there before 1994 know exactly what the social system did to us, what the politics did to us, what the group areas did to us, and what the policy of divide and rule did to us. And we still haven't moved away from that. Today we are still talking about that very same subject, because social cohesion, as I understand it, is how should we all get together instead of being divided? Now, should we really be talking about that 23 years later? I ask the question, and the question lies with us. We are the problem, and we have to be the solution as well. People talk about social cohesion in certain categories of society. They say, no, I've adopted an African child in my home. My maid, she's now got a pension, she's got medical aid, I pay her so much a week. I give her all my wife's previously worn clothes. This is the kind of talk that you get. And that people are thinking seriously that by doing that, they are contributing to this great challenge that we have. And that's not really the issue. You are skirting the issue, or alternatively what you are trying to do is really running away from the issue. If we don't confront the issue head on, then we're going to continue, I'm sorry to say this, and I say this with a great deal of respect to all of us who are seated here this evening. In another 10 or 15 years' time, we'll be still having the same conversation. Because we will be asking ourselves, what's happened? Why aren't we together? Why aren't we sharing economy together? Why aren't we sharing the power in this country together? Why are we still looking at each other suspiciously? Why are we saying, no, that man's come to take my wealth away? I worked hard, why must I share my wealth with him? I worked hard to bring up my children, why must I share this with other people? That kind of conversation is what we will indulge in, or continue to indulge in, if we don't come to grips with reality. And the reality is that we haven't moved away from our past bad habits. We still tend to live in lagers, we still socialize in a communal form. When we're in big functions and at big occasions, we show that we mix, but we don't really do. The moment you get an opportunity, you're back where you came from. And unless we change those attitudes, nothing is going to happen. It's going to get worse, and when it gets worse, we're going to turn on each other. And the white economic powerful people in this country will be sitting back and enjoying the fun because that is what they want. You've heard a lot about sharing of economic power. Let's look at just look at the Johannesburg Stock Exchange. I don't have to give you the detail. 85% of the CEOs in this country are still white. The few black CEOs that do occupy those positions are there, but they do not have the power to make decisions which will make a company change radically overnight. They don't, because they've got a board of directors, 90% of them are white, who tell them what to do. And it's simply, if you don't do what we ask you to do, you know, the 3 million rand package that you got, the fancy Range Rover that you're driving, you know, the 6 overseas trips that you have, and all the other perks will suddenly be taken away from you. And immediately you look at your own position and you just, as if you fall in line with the system. And when you do that, what you are doing, you are just perpetuating economic power in the hands of these people. So my not necessarily a solution, but my thinking is, let's look at our children. See, our children who are attending schools today, they don't see black, white, African, Indian, or colored. They see themselves as colleagues. They're growing up where my child and your child will see each other as simply men. They come to your house, they spend weekends together, they sleep together, they fight together, and if there's a fight against an individual, the two of them will stand together, not as Indian and African or anything like that. They're just friends. They are human beings. Now, if they can do that, yes, they have the advantage that they were not ravaged by the social system that we all faced in our lifetime before 1994. If they can do it, well, isn't that the answer? The answer is we've got to learn from them that we've got to stand together, that we've got to play together, that we've got to live together, that we've got to enjoy life together, and most importantly, we've got to fight together. If we do that, I believe that we're going to go a long way towards removing all these artificial barriers that have existed and that continue to keep us apart. You can't do window dressing anymore. You can't talk about things on the basis that, yes, I've got so many people in my company, I'm the MD of the company, I've got so many of this race, and I've got so many people here, and I've done this for them, and I've built schools for them, and I contribute to this charity, and I contribute to that charity. That's all talk. That doesn't get anybody anywhere. At the end of the day, the people out there, the 80 million people, are going to judge you by what they see, not what you read, what you've written down on paper, and what you might have achieved. So my plea this evening, colleagues, panelists, I'm not talking about social economic transformation. I'm concerned more about the word social cohesion. We've got to be together. There mustn't be any barrier. You know, when we go to functions, why do we all separate? It still happens now. I'm sure that just now we have a little cocktail get-together. You'll see amongst all of us here the separation happening. I'm being blunt about it. It happens. You find a certain group standing on one side and a certain group standing on one side. And it's not based on any kind of economic power, right? It's based on the way we are habitually behaving. These are habits that we've formed, and we can't get rid of it because the powers that be, who have taken economic control in this country, encourage that. They encourage you to do that because it suits them to continue to hold power in this country. So my message, parting short, is let's work together, let's live together, let's fight together, and make sure that we make, starting with Etegweni, but for me more importantly, let's make South Africa ours together. Thank you.